What's going on, guys? It's John here from Untitled Hockey to predict the opening night lineup for the Toronto Maple Leafs 2019-2020 season. So if you are here, please subscribe to the channel, drop a like. I'm going to talk about the forward group, the defense group, the two netminders to start the season with the Leafs, talk a little bit about the power play, the penalty kill, and just overall where I see this team going into the 2019-2020 season. So let's start with the forward group. So we have a little change here because Zach Hyman is going to start the year injured. So I see Andreas Johnsson potentially moving up to the top line with Matthews and Nylander. A guy like Mikheyev, who they brought in, potentially playing with Tavares and Marner. Yes, Mikheyev is a guy you want to succeed right off the bat, and playing with a guy like John Tavares and Mitch Marner, you're going to see that guy get comfortable in the North American game and potentially rack up some points. If not, then you could see him very quickly move down the lineup, and someone like Trevor Moore, who had a lot of success towards the end of the year and in the playoffs, have some success, but I see Trevor Moore starting on the third line with Alex Kerfoot and Kasperi Kapanen, and then on the bottom line, a guy like Kenny Agostino, who they signed with Jason Spezza and Jeremy Bracco. I really think Bracco's going to get that opportunity to make this opening night. He had so much success last year. He didn't really get the whole lot of opportunity in the Marlies Calder Cup championship year, but last year he blew up, and I think Bracco's going to get an opportunity to play up and down the lineup. I think if Nylander struggles, Jeremy Bracco is going to be that guy to potentially play with his fellow American in Matthews. And then your extras, Nick Shore, Nick Patan, and then obviously Hyman injured there. So when Hyman comes back, you could expect him to play again with Tavares and Marner. And depending on how Mikheyev plays, maybe he joins Matthews and Nylander on the top line, get Johnsson with Kerfoot and Kapanen. Maybe Mikheyev slides on that third line. There's going to be some line shuffling when Hyman does come back, but I see the lineup being in somewhat of this shape, and I still think it's going to be a very solid lineup to start the season. So I like that forward group. Who do you see maybe making the power play and the penalty kill units? Well, it depends how Babcock sees the power play. If you want that stacked top power play unit, you're going to get Matthews, Tavares, Marner, Nylander, Riley, and then it slides to the second unit of Tyson Barrie, Kerfoot, Kapanen, Johnsson, Spezza. So that's how it would shape if you want that stacked top unit. If you want it to blend it out, then that would just be preference in Mike Babcock's opinion. But I like how the stacked power play unit works in that top unit. You've seen it with Pittsburgh. You've seen it with Chicago. You've seen it with Tampa. It works very well. Toronto, later on in the season, they had some struggles getting that top power play unit going, but if they can get it going, especially with Nylander in a full season, I think they're going to be dangerous and potentially the best power play team in the league. And for the penalty kill, I think a vet like Jason Spezza can get in there. I think Tavares and Marner will return on the penalty kill. Hyman's there as well when he gets back from injury, but I think a guy that could be on the penalty kill for good could be Trevor Moore. You lost Connor Brown, you have that hole on the penalty kill. I think Trevor Moore could be that guy that takes on full time. Let's look at the defense group, because the defensive group has been a concern for struggles going into the season, but there's some changes we should look at. So, Riley, who's his new defensive partner? Tyson Barrie. You get Barrie in that big trade from Colorado. Yes, you know what? Some people might look at it as Barrie and Riley being very similar players, more offensive, less defensive, but I think they're going to complement each other very well. I think they're going to help get the puck to guys like Tavares, Marner, Matthews, get it on their stick. The breakout's going to be huge for a defense partner like that. You can get them easier matchups, and looking at that second pair, Muzzin and Ceci. You saw what Muzzin did for Zaitsev in the playoffs. I think Muzzin can do the exact same thing for Ceci, and Ceci's getting that fresh start. He can learn a lot from a guy like Jake Muzzin, who has a lot more experience, and I like that pair going into opening night. And then Sandin and Liljegren. You know what? Dermott starting the year injured as well. Dermott, Hyman, they're two big pieces. Not huge pieces, but I love these two pieces to the team, and it sucks that Dermott's starting the year injured, but Sandin and Liljegren, he could be the Cale Makar and the Samuel Girard to the Leafs. The Avs and Leafs, they made a big trade. The Leafs can take a page out of their book. Sandin and Liljegren, maybe they're not completely ready, but that's where you start the season, see what they can do. Sandin made some huge strides last year. Liljegren, maybe a little bit of a step behind, but he's that right-handed defenseman. Maybe being with a familiar face in Sandin, they can start the season on the third pair and see what they can do. I see Borgman maybe getting a chance to make the 23-man roster. Ben Harper's there as well. Marincin, they signed to a one-way deal. Justin Hall's still there as well. But obviously, you're moving forward, seeing Sandin and Liljegren with the most potential. I say you give them a shot if they do have a very good training camp. But I see the 7 defensemen making the 23-man roster being somewhat this core. And obviously when Travis Dermott comes back, one of those 3 in the bottom will have to get sent down. And then Anderson with Hutchinson. I think Hutchinson's going to start the year with the Leafs. Garrett Sparks has struggled. There's been some trade rumors around him. I like Hutchinson for the backup job. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think about my prediction for the opening night lineup. Let me know about your changes, about what you like about my lineup. But thank you for watching. Again, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. Drop a like. Again, comment your thoughts. Thank you for everyone for the support on the channel. This was John from Untitled Hockey. Have a good one. Peace out.